All right. Return for segment 2 of America's Voice Now. Continue with our theme. The Pentagon is planning to deploy huge blimps over Washington. If you folks don't smell the security violations going on around us, I don't know what you're waiting for. These blimps, the size of parking lots, will float at 10,000 feet and provide the military with surveillance powers that run all the way from North Carolina to Niagara Falls, Canada. The airships are part of Raytheon's Joint Land Attack Cruise Missile Defense Elevated Netted Sensor System, or JLENS. They'll cruise at 10,000 feet. They can stay up there for 30 days at a clip without refueling. They'll allow the Army to see 320 miles in every direction from 10,000 feet. What, pray tell, might the reason be for these? Well, I'm going to tell you. Because under the new totalitarian regime, they need to protect the tyrants, the traitors, and the treasonists, and build a buffer zone around the world headquarters of Tyranny International. And that buffer zone is designed for one thing: to keep the likes of we the people away. They're not worried about foreign incursion. They're worried about those pesky, patriotic, domestic terrorists. Yes, those folks like you, those folks like me, who simply want to see a nation that operates, once again, under the rule of law. But tyrants can't have that. So they take your money and build elaborate security systems for themselves. And that, ladies and gentlemen, explains a lot of things. It explains why Congress has completely abdicated any even rational remote connection to the principles of representative government. It explains why your House representative member, your senators, have completely sold you down the river, because they're promised a seat under the eye of protection, that all-seeing eye. They're promised that their secrets will be kept secure from the press, at least until they're no longer needed. Then suddenly they'll, fall down the stairs, or have a sudden heart attack, or perhaps be driving down the road and their car will suddenly fall under the control of a blimp a few hundred miles away. You see, every government that operates as a totalitarian regime at some point takes those that it used to achieve that end and says, if they weren't loyal to their own people, I guess they won't be loyal to us. So let's purge them. Woe to those who would betray their own countrymen. Because at some point, the likes of the Chris Christies of the world, who find libertarianism dangerous, and Rand Paul's dangerous, and Ted Cruz's dangerous, will find that they've awakened in the lion's den and they're hungry. They think they've been promised a seat at the table of whatever phoenix rises from the ashes of liberty. I submit that they're being used like puppets, and when their time is done, they'll be tossed onto the flames to be consumed. Go ahead, caller.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, Michael.
Have to admit, Chris Christie disappointed me greatly this morning.
He's been a disappointment for quite some time now.
Understood. Before the show is over, just two things. Tomorrow, for those who are wanting to become more self-reliant, OSLU has a canning class at the Koshkonong Senior Center.
Yep. And if you don't know how to can, folks, now's your chance.
1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, totally free. And, Mike, I understand you're going to learn how to can yourself soon. Is that right?
You trying to put me on the spot here?
Of course. We need you to acquire this skill to go with all the other good ones you have.
I think I would be better suited for other skills than canning.
We'll do your canning, and you can do the talking.
All right. Fair enough.
Okay. Also, the event Monday at the Civic Center, I did a little research on that and wanted to pass it on so people can plan their day Monday.
Sure.
That actually will be a field hearing. It's kind of like transporting a piece of Washington, D.C. to West Plains for half a day. Everything done there will go in the Congressional record, and all testimony will go into the Library of Congress.
Uh-huh. So So then, just out of curiosity, but why haven't any of the people who are boots on the ground during the fight been invited to speak?
I have asked that question, have not yet gotten a sufficient answer.
I mean, I'm deeply concerned about the fact that they're coming here to our hometown, our living room, if you will, and yet none of the folks who were invested in the fight are actually asked to address the real issues.
True. I have made a suggestion to Representative Smith and also Representative Long, to their people, and I hope to hear back from them today. They will be choosing some of the witnesses to give testimony. I have suggested Lieutenant Governor Peter Kinder, because he has been a friend to us in the fight. I
agree wholeheartedly, but you see, it shouldn't be limited to Kinder.
No.
How about Doreen? How about Jeannie from Arkansas? How about Bob Parker?
They would all be wonderful.
I mean, I can get that he doesn't want me up there,
or me.
Frankly, I disagree with that. I mean, honestly, yesterday I praised him for doing the right thing on the vote for the NSA funding. He voted against funding for the NSA to continue this treasonous, confiscation of our phone records. However, my job is not to be a sycophant for any politician, but to call them out when they do wrong and praise them when they do right. And honestly, if he's unwilling to put the facts aside that sometimes even they need correction, I mean, I'm still not allowed to post on the Facebook page.
We are in good company. Bob Parker can't post there, and I can't post theirs.
So is this a Facebook page that only people who want to praise him can post on? Is that true representative government? Is that true open and transparent government? I mean, if this is going to be a congressional hearing and you have to be invited to speak, does that mean that we have no voice when we're sitting in our own living room? We're required to sit here and observe but keep our mouths shut?
They are allowing written testimony.
I don't want it written.
Understood.
I want it verbally expressed.
Yes.
And I want people to be able to verbally express it who are actually there. If it's a testimony, it requires a witness. And a witness requires you to have some physical context to witness to.
Well, I think we should encourage everyone who possibly can show up to attend.
I want to see everyone there. I don't care if you take the day off of work, call in sick, show up. There's 400 seats there, and my understanding is that if we overflow that facility, we can go into the bigger room, which holds, 1,300 or something.
1,200. Civic Center said they'd move us.
Okay, I would like to see us blow the doors wide open, and I would like to see 1,500. I'd like to see 2,000 concerned Missourians here demand they let us into the auditorium arena and make sure that we get our voices heard.
We also need to make sure that there is adequate press coverage. If we have newspaper reporters, radio people out listening today, I'd encourage them to be there.
Well, we better do this as one last shot, because it won't be long now before you have to be licensed to be a journalist, because according to Lindsey Liverlips Graham, bloggers aren't entitled to First Amendment protection, but official reporters, of course, they are.
Mm-hmm. He's apparently never read the First Amendment.
Apparently he skipped that class.
Did. For anyone who cannot be there Monday but would like to give written testimony, I do have an email address that can be sent to. I can post it on your Facebook page.
Please do that.
Okay, that'll be there in about 5 minutes.
If you folks cannot make it for some reason, we would like to have your written testimony, kind of like a witness statement. But beyond that, I'd actually like to see so many bodies show up at this thing that these folks from Washington take notice, recognize how important this is to us. And what's more, I want them to feel the power that the people, we the people, their bosses have. You see, I don't like being told, as the boss, that I've got to sit down and shut up in my own boardroom.
I agree. It also would be a good idea, I think, for folks to express their opinions on the witnesses. We still don't know who the witnesses will be.
Why is that a secret? 2 days before the event.
I have no idea. It's Congress. They move slow. They lack competence. Or
well, I mean,
they just don't want us to know. I don't know.
Okay, so I think we need to make it apparent somehow by a vast majority of bodies showing up that we're not going to take that. They're going to tell us who the witnesses are, and if we don't like the witnesses, we're going to put our own up there.
Okay. And as far as Lieutenant Governor Kinder goes,
I want him to speak because I think he's on the right side on this issue. But the simple truth is, this crap about it's our secret, and we'll tell you when we get damn good and ready to tell you, like 8 minutes before the event, is unacceptable.
And he said yesterday, if he is asked, he would be honored to represent the people of the state.
Well, the fact that he hasn't been asked it's getting a little long in the tooth on the clock to ask the guy to drive down here on Monday when it's Friday afternoon.
Well, he's concerned enough about this, he planned on being there anyway. He will be there Monday. Senator Mike Cunningham said he would be there. He has also been very opposed to it. I haven't heard back from Jeff Pogue yet or Sean Rhodes. I'm hoping they'll be there as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what say you that we show up en masse, hear what they have to say, and then allow them to hear what we have to say, congressional record or not? Because I've about had enough of Congress telling me, we're going to hold a meeting in your backyard, it's going to be a full congressional blow-up, blah, 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 blah. But you have no input. What is this, a dog and pony show? Is it a stage show? Is this the new Broadway? Or, I mean, we don't even get it. We're not even allowed to make it an interactive event? I don't buy it. I mean, I want us to be there, but I sure am not liking the smell this thing has. And it sounds to me like another replication of what transpired in Washington when Eddie Justice was sent in there as a political favor to testify about something he had no knowledge about. He wasn't there. He wasn't in on any of the calls. He didn't show up at any of the meetings. He didn't go and actually testify before any of the commissions. So, I mean, you know, I could go and testify about a nuclear power plant, but if I've never been there and I've never been in it and I have no knowledge at all about nuclear except how to spell it, I probably wouldn't be a very legitimate witness, would I?
That was obviously political payback. Everyone
well, you know, that's the problem. America is full of political payback, and the only people that seem to carry the weight of the price around are us. Mm-hmm. The serfs and the insurgents, as we're now thought of.
Yeah. Well, I hope to see a very, very, very large crowd. At the expo last weekend in Lebanon, there were people talking about this. There are carpool groups coming from Springfield, Lebanon, Joplin.
Outstanding. So let's make sure that everyone within the range of our local broadcast area here is here. I want you here, people. I want you here because we need to make it clear that, one, we take this issue of the blueways seriously, and two, that we take the whole issue of Congress is looking into it seriously, and then the ancillary side of that is we take it seriously that they've refused to allow us input into our own. I mean, this is as bad as the Blue Way saying, we're going to do this and you don't get any input. Now Congress says we're going to have a hearing on it and you get no input. I mean, when do we get input?
The House of Representatives has the power to withhold funding. They could drive a stake through the heart of this vampire and kill it forever.
Well, they've had that opportunity with Obamacare, the NSA last week. Doesn't seem likely that they're going to.
Well, they need to hear from the people more and more and more.
So, folks, there's your clarion call. There's your call to arms. There's your call to action. Show up here and let Congress know that the Blue Ways needs to be defunded, that the Department of the Interior needs to rescind the entire project and not just move it from Mo-Arkanistan and try to slap it up in Illinois or over in California or in Utah or in Virginia or their next target. It's Agenda 21, folks. Here's your one chance to get the word out. Here's your one chance to be heard, but you can't be heard if you're not here. So there's my invitation and my request to our listenership. Show up. It's at the West Plains Civic Center on Monday. What time is it kicking off, Mike?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Be here early. In fact, I think maybe you might want to bring a placard or a poster with you.
One that simply said defund Blue Way would get the idea across.
There you go. Phone lines are ringing, Mike. I got to go.
Bye.
Thanks. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Michael?
Yes, sir.
You were talking about the NSA earlier and the funding and such, and, I think one should apply a simple rule of logic. You talked about it a couple of days ago, Occam's razor.
Yep.
If you've got a government entity that is defunding, that is spending their money, looking at Americans on a massive scale, then you should probably accept the rule of logic that they are indeed interested in people control. Pure, plain, simple. It's the simplest explanation consistent with the evidence.
There you go. And that's what Occam's razor says.
Yeah.
The answer that has the answer that has the least possible variances to it.
The most consistent with the available evidence. The simplest answer consistent with the most available evidence. Yes.
Well, that's how we hold trials, isn't it?
By and large, it is. Yes.
So
at least in the American system, English is a little different, but the basic application, the logic is the same, just applied from the opposite direction.
Yep. Well, listen, my lines are off the chart. I'll talk to you in a bit. Thank you, brother. Well, okay, so neither of them were willing to hang on. People, for the record, don't call here unless you're going to wait, okay? I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Don't call here unless you're going to wait. I don't like that dial tone thing. If you're not willing to wait 30 seconds to get your 30 seconds of speech in, don't call. He's so mean. I don't care. I don't want everybody else abused with your dial tone. So, ladies and gentlemen, the simple problem here is that we have a government that operates completely outside the rule of law. Nobody seems to care. Your job is to show up on Monday and let them know. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, hello. Is this Mike?
It is, if you're listening to the same program that I'm talking on.
Yes, I am. Okay. How are you? You know what, Mike? I just want to give you a little tip. I think it'd be something for you to, when you go...
Okay, go ahead and with it. Quickly now, the show's almost over.
Okay, the deal is, I think what the deal is, a lot of people don't have no computers. You know what I'm talking about? That'd be if I got the thing is, like I'd say down in Missouri, there be like 20 people all speaking to them, and they say, well, because we are lazy, we don't want to mess with it. I said, the only thing you have to do is get a pamphlet, print it with a computer. I do not have no computer. That's okay.
All right, well,
no, wait a minute.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Can't take it. I can't even follow that line of thinking. It's just there's There's no connection. There's no links to the chain. I mean, where are we going with that? All right. Let me just thank a couple of folks because we're on our last week, by the way, folks. We're on our last full week of America's Voice now on 107.1 and broadcasting locally in the West Plains area. We are talking to a couple of other stations, but we don't have a committed location yet. 1450 AM, the Ozark Radio Network, has refused our program. Refused it. Yeah. So that gives you the idea of their community commitment. I want to thank a bunch of folks that have really been instrumental in keeping America's Voice on the air during the time that we've been here. For starters, my friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, probably my oldest and longest and most committed patriot. Mary is an absolute doll, and she's the best damn bakery in 100 miles. You can get a hold of her at number 2 Evans Arcade, right off the square, or you can call her at 255-2253. And she is truly an awesome patriot. Kevin over at the Battery Station, a big-time and strong supporter of America's Voice now, 257-7799. For the record, Kevin has a bunch of 50 caliber cans, by the way, and the Magpul AR magazines he's still got in there. You can find him at 303 Washington Avenue in West Plains, or you can reach him at 417-257-7799. Kenny and our friends over at West Plains Pawn and Fine Jewelry at 256-3000. That's 256-3000 on Highway 160 just past Walmart. They have about 400 guns under cover at any given moment, and accessories, and it's the cleanest pawn shop I have ever been in. And so they've got nice jewelry in there, whistle clean, very, very well maintained and taken care of. Just a pleasure to shop there. So if you get a chance and you can get down to West Plains Pawn and Fine Jewelry, you're certainly welcome to do that. Our friends over at Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance, you can find their new website at ozarksurvivalgear.com. You can reach them at 870-492-4030 and take a look at that new website. Pizza Hut, and I got to tell you, that's outside the realm of what a normal corporation allows their people to do locally. That the manager of that particular facility, Bruce, has really stepped up to the plate and done something unique. And he said he believes so strongly in our message that he's gone outside the corporate approval process, if you will, to sponsor this program. And I commend that. That tells me that there's a guy who's got a little bit of chutzpah. You can go see them on Tuesdays. That's their family night, and kids under 12 eat free. And then every day they have a lunch special with salad bar and pizza and pasta. And so you can go there and have something healthy and something that everybody enjoys, which is pizza. And when you get there, say hi to Bruce for me, and also ask for Bree to be your server. She's a special friend of mine, as in my daughter. So let her know that her dad sent you, and she'll take good care of you. Bill Stone over at Stone Construction. Now, here's a guy who has stepped up to the plate and said, you know, I believe so strongly in your message that I want to support you, and the best way I can do that is by advertising our construction business on your program. His phone number is 293-0116, and, you know, it's not you want to be careful about who, you know, you promote and so forth, but I got to tell you, Bill's quality of work is something that is second to none. I would never have a problem recommending him, because the work that he does is outstanding. He's been doing this for some 40 years. He's not a fly-by-night guy that just, you know, rolled into town with a pickup truck and a ladder. And it doesn't matter what he's doing, whether he's doing construction for concrete, a farm, a barn, residential, commercial, even light industrial. He does it all. In fact, he's even got a program, if you're considering building your own house, he acts as a general contractor's advisor to make sure that you can avoid the pitfalls that most people have when they try to do their own general contracting. So I encourage you to participate with him. Jason over at Wits End Classic Barbershop, he's my buddy, cuts my hair, $10. They're opening their new Patriot Lounge shortly. Make sure you look into that. Greg over at Black Ops School of Combat, you can reach him at 417-255-1612 or blackopsschoolofcombat.com. Does concealed carry and every other kind of firearms training, an absolute mandatory, especially at this time in our political world. Jason Elkins Plumbing at 293-7640, and John Hatley over at Site. He does site development, driveways, and grading. Both these guys are very skilled and talented, and they're big supporters of this program. John can be reached at 293-8229, and Jason again at 293-7640, 293-7640 for plumbing, 293-8229 for site development, driveways, grading, etc. You're listening to America's Voice. Find us on the web at americasvoicenow.org. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.
The Battery Station in West Plains is your headquarters for getting and being prepared. Natural disasters, civil unrest,